The rain had been falling for days, slow, heavy, and unending. It streaked the windows of Daniel's small apartment like tears sliding down the face of the sky. Outside, the world looked washed out, blurred, and distant. Cars splashed through puddles on the street below, but the sound barely reached him. He sat silently by the window, arms wrapped loosely around himself, as if even his own presence felt unfamiliar. He used to love the rain. When he was younger, it made him feel calm, clean, full of possibilities. He remembered running barefoot across the wet grass in his grandparents' yard, laughing as summer storms rolled in. He remembered lifting his face to the sky, thinking rain was a sign of blessing. But somewhere along the way, rain started to feel like a mirror of his life, gray, heavy, and unrelenting. Not so long ago, Daniel had dreams shaped in color. He imagined himself building something meaningful, a business, a home, a life he could be proud of. He poured everything he had into his goals, time, energy, sleepless nights, years of belief. And for a while, things looked promising. He felt momentum, support, direction. He believed God was leading him. But life shifted. The business he invested in, heart first, wallet second, collapsed. Not because of his lack of effort. Not because he wasn't capable. Just, life happened. A sudden economic downturn, partners who backed out, unforeseen debts that stacked faster than solutions could come. His savings disappeared. His plans unraveled. The future he once saw so clearly dissolved into a fog of uncertainty. Then came the worst part. The people he trusted, the ones who celebrated with him when things were good, slowly drifted away when struggle arrived. Some of them didn't even call. Some offered surface-level sympathy before disappearing entirely. And the person he loved most, the one he imagined building a family with, walked away with a quiet, final sigh. "I just can't do this anymore," she had said, eyes soft, but resolute. "You've changed, Daniel. You're not the man you used to be. You're lost." Lost. The word stuck to him like a wet coat he couldn't remove. He didn't blame her. He really didn't. He was lost. But hearing it confirmed so plainly broke something inside him. After that, the world felt muted. He didn't collapse in dramatic sadness. He didn't scream at the sky. He didn't curse fate or blame God. He just faded, slowly, quietly, like a candle burning down to its final ember. He lived, but didn't feel alive. He worked small jobs to get by. He stopped visiting friends. He avoided conversations. He moved into the tiny rental room where he now sat, a space barely big enough for a bed, a table, and the window he stared through day after day. Even prayer, once his greatest refuge, felt distant. When he tried, words wouldn't come. When he listened, he heard only silence. One night, as the rain tapped against the window like a persistent question, he finally let out his thoughts aloud, not in reverence but in raw honesty. "Maybe I messed up too much," he whispered. "Maybe I walked too far off the path. Maybe you don't have a plan for me anymore." The silence that followed felt heavy, like confirmation. He lowered his head. The ache in his chest felt old and familiar. Days passed. He moved through them without expectation. He didn't ask for miracles. He just tried to get through. Then, one evening, while searching for something, anything, in the boxes he'd never fully unpacked, he found it, an old journal. The leather was worn, edges frayed, but when he held it, something warm flickered, like recognizing an old friend. He sat on the floor and opened it. Inside were pages of prayers, dreams, scripture, handwritten hopes from a time he believed life was filled with promise. He turned page after page, feeling like he was reading the thoughts of someone he used to know but no longer felt connected to. Then he saw it, a verse he had once written in bold strokes. "For I know the plans I have for you." But the page ended there, unfinished. He remembered now. That day, he had been full of excitement. He had written the beginning of the verse, planning to finish it later. But he never did. And now, staring at it years later, he felt a sad, broken laugh escape him. "That was before," he murmured. "Before everything fell apart. Before I ruined everything." He shut the journal, pressing his palm against the cover, but before he could put it away, something happened. Not a sound, not a vision, not thunder or light, just a quiet stirring inside him, deep, familiar, unmistakable. A voice, not heard with ears, but felt in spirit. You were never out of my plan. He froze. It was not a thought he formed. It did not sound like his own mind. It was gentle, steady, sure, like truth spoken from beyond the storm. His breath caught. You did not fail me. You did not lose your place. You did not walk beyond my reach. A warmth spread through his chest. Not dramatic, but steady, like the slow rising of dawn. Tears blurred his vision as the whisper continued. I have been with you through every valley. I have been shaping you when you felt you were breaking. You have not been forgotten. You were not abandoned. You are still in my plan. The tears came harder, not from sadness, but from release. From being seen, from being known, from being held. Daniel bowed his head, hands clutching the journal, heart trembling. And for the first time in a very long time, he felt God again, not in triumph, but in the quiet, sacred middle of pain. The next morning did not arrive with fanfare. There were no angelic trumpets, no sudden shift in destiny, no dramatic change in circumstance. The sky was still gray, the city still busy, the problems of yesterday still waiting patiently. Yet, when Daniel opened his eyes, something inside him felt different, softly, subtly, but undeniably real. Hope, not a blazing fire, just a spark, but sometimes, a spark is enough to change everything. He sat on the edge of his bed, breathing slowly, letting the silence settle. The memory of the whisper, "You were never out of my plan," still echoed within him like a gentle heartbeat. He didn't understand everything, he didn't suddenly know the road ahead, but he felt, held, loved, guided, and that was enough to rise. He didn't start by changing his entire life. He didn't quit his job, he didn't chase a grand new dream, he didn't try to impress anyone. Instead, he began with something small but profound. He allowed himself to care again. He cleaned his room, not because it would fix anything, but because he wanted to make space for peace. He opened the window and let the fresh air in. He made breakfast slowly, mindfully, not rushing for once. And while he ate, he whispered, "God, if you're still here, lead me, even if step by step." There was no immediate reply. But Daniel didn't feel alone anymore. Over the following days, he started to notice things he used to overlook: the warmth of sunlight breaking through clouds, the quiet kindness in a stranger's smile, the calm of breathing deeply. He walked outside more, not to escape, but to be present. He didn't try to rebuild his life in one massive effort. He simply took one step at a time. One afternoon, while walking past a small community center, he saw a sign taped to the door. Volunteers needed, evening meal program. Something in him stirred, not excitement, more like recognition. A gentle nudge. He stopped, stared, considered. He almost walked away, almost talked himself out of it. You have nothing to offer. You're still trying to put yourself back together. Who are you to help anyone? But the whisper rose again, quiet, steady, unwavering. Go. So he did. The first day was simple. He helped chop vegetables and clean tables. No one asked about his past. No one expected anything from him. He was just another pair of hands, and somehow, that felt good. There, he met people who carried burdens unseen: loneliness, hunger, grief, uncertainty. But unlike him, they didn't hide it. They didn't have the luxury. Their struggles were open, visible, raw. And in serving them, Daniel felt something begin to heal inside him. Not all at once, not dramatically, but piece by piece, like cracked glass being gently mended. He started returning every week, then twice a week, then almost every evening. The volunteers learned his name, then his smile, eventually, his quiet warmth. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was simply giving what he had: his time, his presence, his hands. And slowly, doors he once believed were sealed began to open. One evening, while serving food, he overheard a conversation between two coordinators. They were discussing a local entrepreneurship program partnering with nonprofits, one that helped people with business backgrounds contribute to community building projects. "Too bad we don't know anyone who has experience in small business startups," one said. Daniel looked up. It felt like the moment paused, just for him. He swallowed, stepped forward, and quietly said, "Actually, I might be able to help." They listened, really listened, not dismissing him, not questioning his past. They didn't need perfection, they needed someone willing. One meeting turned into two. Two turned into involvement. Involvement turned into responsibility. Not overwhelming responsibility, purposeful responsibility. Daniel found himself helping create new outreach systems, donation programs, support structures. The work wasn't glamorous. It didn't make headlines. But it was meaningful, steady, and full of life. And in doing this, he rediscovered something he thought he had lost forever. His sense of purpose. One afternoon months later, Daniel walked home after a long day at the community center. The sky above him had finally cleared. The city lights twinkled against the evening air like distant stars. He stopped at the top of a small hill and looked upward. The vast sky stretched endlessly overhead, expansive, open, full of promise. He thought about everything that had happened. His failures had not destroyed him. His heartbreak had not ended him. His detours had not disqualified him. They had shaped him. The pain had given him compassion. The loneliness had given him understanding. The setbacks had given him depth. He didn't lose time. He grew in it. He didn't fall off the path. He was being led through a different valley. He wasn't forgotten. He was being prepared. And then, as the wind moved gently across his face, he heard the whisper again, not loud, not forceful, simply true. You were never out of my plan. Tears rose, not from sorrow, but from gratitude. He closed his eyes, smiled, and whispered back, I know. Now I know. He didn't need to know the whole journey anymore. He just needed to take the next step. And with quiet strength, peace in his chest, and hope steady inside him, Daniel walked forward.